Saddle up, little ponies, because this is the moment of the market where decisions are made. And this short clip from yesterday perfectly summarizes what I'm thinking. And say we start recovering here over the next couple of weeks, it doesn't mean we're going straight up to new all-time highs by next week, guys. It's going to be challenging, and that's what I said. 38,000. Say I post this video and it's down back at 32 or 33,000. Okay, that doesn't change any of this. Will we rise from the ashes of the crashes of bull markets past, or will we burn in agonizing, excruciating pain, the likes of which will send us into deep mental and emotional distress, where every single moment of our existence mutilates us as if we must perpetually exist in some sort of hell on earth? It is decision time, Dumpy Squad, so follow me as we dive deep into the Dumpy Zone. I am your host, Harold Hemorrhaging Net Worth, and if you think your portfolio looks low, well then you and I both have something in common. Goodness gumdrops, what an absolutely bananas day, as Bitcoin is doing one of two things right now. Setting a mega double bottom which will blast open the fabric of reality as we know it and continue this bull market, or were we wrong and a new low is formed that could send us into a bear market lasting months? Wow, but guys, in all honesty, this is just a huge moment. And I just want to level with everyone watching these videos right now. Yes, I'm making jokes, but the amount of money, well, I guess the amount of value that my portfolio lost, because keep in mind, you don't realize any losses until you sell, but the numbers on my little screen have changed drastically over the last 1 or 2 weeks, as it has for all of you that have long-term portfolios. Whether you're trading, longing, shorting the market, that's one thing, but I think a lot of people in this space obviously have long-term portfolios where, maybe they trade a certain percent, but they have long-term portfolios that fluctuate with the market. And if you're one of those people that has a long-term portfolio, then your net worth, or the little numbers that you see on your screen right now, are obviously much lower than they were when Bitcoin was at 65,000 and when altcoins were at new all-time highs and everything like that. And the money that I'm going to be making from this video is not even a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent of my portfolio's dipping over the past 2 weeks. So absolute dumpathon confirmed. So guys, we're gonna be taking a look at a lot of things. Has anything fundamentally changed since I last posted, like 24 hours ago? What is to come? We're gonna be getting our weekly close in mere moments here, and this is gonna be huge. It's almost guaranteed that we're gonna be closing below the 21 weekly moving average. We'll take a look at that as well. And as well, just a lot of different things. What are my thoughts? What's going on? What is worst case scenario? What is best case scenario? So if you guys are new to the channel, miss these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. And without any further ado, you know what? Let's just dump on in. Devastation. So guys, Bitcoin right now is in a very, very critical spot, and it has been for a few hours, and I've kind of hesitated on making a video because I kind of want to see how this plays out. We're going to be getting a daily close in a weekly candle close with a new weekly candle open in exactly 4 hours from the time I'm recording this. But on this daily chart, it is just looking absolutely devastating. Let's go to the 2-day chart. Okay, at least we're above one of those moving averages. So guys, clearly, Bitcoin, the entire crypto market has absolutely been taking a tumble here. Bitcoin dominance has been boosted very much from this. Why is that? Well, people tend to put their money back into Bitcoin. Altcoins tend to crash harder during these dumps, and Bitcoin tends to be a little more stable. If you look at the cryptocurrency market cap or everything, you can see that very clearly. Okay, we have Bitcoin down about 14%, and all of the top 10 alts are down more than that. Ethereum down almost 18, Dogecoin down 16, Cardano down 22, Binance Coin down 25, and so on and so forth, right? Except Insane Clown Posse is only down 10%, so maybe that is truly the next Bitcoin. But yeah, realistically, Bitcoin is a better hedge during these dumps. But as well, this is kind of the storybook for the ages. On the 1-year chart, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, as you can see, is the lowest it's been in the last 365 days by a lot. We're currently at about, I think we're actually at 14 out of 100. So on a scale of 1 to 100, we're in a 14, meaning extreme fear. Okay, and the next tick will update in about 5 hours, and it'll give us another reading here. Currently, it's at 14, extreme fear. If we go back, the max history that's showing here, going back about 3 years to 2018, this is the lowest that it's been since the crash back in March, which again was the best time to buy. It's also the lowest back in August of 2019. it was about 11 on the fear and greed, and then another low point was 12 back in November of 2018. But essentially, from my end, has anything changed in terms of how I'm viewing this? Not yet, okay? What I think needs to happen for us to get mega bearish is we set a new lower low and we break 30K, okay? It's very simple. It's not super complex. The requirements there are just very small. We have this low back here that was right around 30,000. I think it dipped a little bit below 30,000 on some exchanges, but Bitcoin had a very strong wick and bounce at 30K back 4 days ago on the 19th. And fast forward, here we are. We set a low back 2 days ago on the 21st. Nice little bounce. And here we are setting a new low. So far, it is not a lower low. A lower low would be below 30,000. So that's what we're watching for. Okay, that's kind of the big thing to see, because if this is the local bottom right here, right around 32 of the last 24 hours, if this is the lowest that we go, actually it went around 31,000. So we got within 1,000 and then we had a bounce here. But if this is the low, then everything still technically has a chance of continuing a very strong bull market. With that being said, as I've been saying, do I think that we're going to be hitting new all-time highs within the next few weeks? No, I don't. I don't think that's realistic, okay? Realistically, if this is the bottom, if 30K is the bottom, and we continue up from here, that doesn't mean that it's going to be fun for the next few weeks. That doesn't mean you're going to be a multimillionaire within the next few weeks. As I've been saying in every video since May 19th, I've been saying, if this is the bottom, that's great, but it's not going to be fun and it's not going to be easy as we reverse here. And it's going to take some time. It's not going to be immediate. So that's kind of the big story here. So what is happening right at this moment? Okay, we're going to be getting this weekly close. Basically, we're going to be deciding between, are we about to shatter 30K and go below that? Or are we going to just set this higher low of about 31,000 US dollars and recover here over the next couple of weeks and, just build ourselves back up as we retest resistance and find new support and build this cycle back. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video as well, where I agreed that a lengthening cycle is something that is clearly a very real possibility. I see no reason why that is something that is impossible, right? I think that's just as likely as a normal 4-year cycle. But basically, let's talk about both scenarios. We're going to talk about best case scenario and worst case scenario, because I see some worst case scenarios thrown out there that are just, realistically, they don't make any sense. Okay, could we enter a short-term bear market for Bitcoin? Absolutely. But basically, on this weekly chart, best case scenario is we bottom here, okay? We ultimately find a bottom. We have some chop. We have some sideways. We have some fear, massive fear for a while. I want to say at least a couple of weeks. I personally think at least one more week from now, there's going to be pretty intense fear in the market as we kind of build up, reclaim some moving averages, retest, just make new support in this range that we have barely any support in, because we have barely been above $20,000 per Bitcoin. It's only been the last few months. Okay, so as we build this up, and then we kind of enter a more bullish, blast, maybe towards July, August, September, going into the end of this year, and actually having the bull market bleed over into 2022, potentially even longer. Really, it depends on how long Bitcoin can stabilize and get back on trajectory if this is the number one bullish scenario, right? And ultimately, what I like about that scenario is that we most likely would hit price targets much higher than what you're hearing people say of like a $200,000 or $250,000 Bitcoin, but it would take longer. It would be more painful, I think, for people psychologically. A lot of people would get shaken out. A lot of people would lose faith. It would be harder on people. Okay. With that being said, I think we would hit higher price targets, but for a lot of people, it would not be fun. And again, like I said, I think a lot of people would miss out on it because they get shaken out, they lose faith, they get over emotional, and they basically give up on cryptocurrency. So there's a silver lining in that. But again, I think that's a tougher road in terms of a bull market. And the worst case scenario, okay, because again, the point of this, I'm just giving you what I think is the best case scenario and worst case. So worst case scenario, I think, is we continue to set lower lows. We plunge below here. We go below. We set lows below this, at which point, basically all of everyone's data that goes back years and years, all on-chain analytics, all metrics kind of go out the window. And we basically live through a cycle that has never happened for Bitcoin. So if that would happen, you guys have to realize, we all have to realize, that this would be something unprecedented that has never happened in Bitcoin's cyclical history. So it would be unprecedented. It would be groundbreaking. It would be new. And it would change everything, okay? For good and bad. There would be pros and cons to that. Obviously, there would be more cons in the short term because obviously, I mean, if it gets dumpier in the short term, then people are going to be very emotional and upset in the short term. Keep in mind that would change everything, meaning we would have a very unique cycle moving forward, I think. It would change everything, okay? It'd be absolutely groundbreaking. But ultimately, if we take a look at this, let's say worst case scenario does happen. We fall below here, the 100-week moving average right here around, say that happens, we fall below the 50-week moving average around 27,000 US dollars. I think worst case scenario, we could enter a bear market for the next 6 months to a year. Now, why do I say that? So guys, why do I say that? Okay, well, first of all, this bull cycle obviously has not played out in terms of time like every other bull cycle. So that's one of the biggest reasons most people believe this is actually not a bear market and we're still bullish. But I don't think it makes any sense to assume, okay, let's say worst case scenario, this is a bear market. Now we're about to enter a 2.5 to 3 year bear market. That doesn't make any sense because usually when we get bear markets of a certain amount of time, it's because we've also had bull markets of similar amounts of time. So if we had a shorter bull market this time, why would we have a bear market that's even longer than previous bear markets? But guys, I do want to clarify, basically to summarize this, at this moment, Bitcoin hasn't done anything that we haven't been expecting. As I said, I think we set a low and we're going to be setting higher lows and it's not going to be fun as we recover here. But so far, guys, we have not set a lower low. So really, that's going to be the massive moment. And actually, if we go on this daily chart, did that just tell me that the low was in the... So I guess on Gemini, Bitcoin went to like 28,000. So I guess technically to set a lower low, it really depends on exchanges, but we just don't want to set a lower low. So I guess technically on this chart, if Bitcoin came down to 29,000, that would not be a lower low because we actually went down to the $28,000 range on Gemini. So basically, instead of me giving exact numbers like 30K or 29.8K or something like that, I'll just say a lower low, okay, if we set a lower low, which we haven't so far, and that's really the big thing to watch. We are going to be getting a weekly close below the 21 weekly EMA, around 47,500, unless we pumped $15,000 in the next 2 hours, which obviously is not going to happen. But either way, this is still intact. But to be honest, it is not the number one scenario that most people wanted, okay? It's still intact, but it is pretty bruised, beaten, and battered. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those guys notifications to never miss these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. And without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye-bye.